welcome to Latino Marin. I'm Veda Florez, your host this evening. We have a special guest, Superior Court of Marin candidate, Renee Marcelle. Thank you very much for joining us today.
It is my pleasure.
Tell us about the Superior Court system and the 4 different divisions.
The Marin County Superior Court judge is divided into 4 different areas. One of them is the criminal division. The other one is the family court division. Then there's probate. And then we have the guardianship division. Mm-hmm. In California, we have 58 different counties. And of those counties, there are courtrooms, Superior Court rooms in every single one. The courts in San Francisco are reviewing courts. We have appellate review courts in there, and then we actually have it in 5 other areas as well. There are 6 reviewing courts in California. The Superior Court is, I think, the most interesting. It's the trial court. So most trials happen right there. And all of the fun, if anything, if you want to call it fun, goes on there. Not fun, I think it's more action. Mm-hmm. Action starts there, and it ends there.
And do you think it's important to have experience in all of those divisions to be a Superior Court judge?
Not at all. I believe that Superior or Supreme Court experience is pretty irrelevant. I believe that the appellate court experience is fairly irrelevant. Although I have appellate court experience, I've taken a number of cases up and I've defended cases that have been taken up. But I don't really find it important. I think it's more important for a trial judge lawyer. The most important experience in a trial judge is a person who has done and been involved in a vast variety of disputes. For example, in the Superior Court, we have the criminal division. In the criminal division, one should have the experience of actually doing jury trials. That experience I have. I have done over 100 jury trials and bench trials in criminal dispositions. One should also have family law experience. Why would you want family law experience? Well, the reason is because the bulk of the cases that come into Marin County Superior Court are family law and criminal law. So because I have 24 years practicing as a family law lawyer, that experience is going to be much more important than other kinds of experience, like say, for example, consulting or it's actually most important to be a trial lawyer.
How long have you lived in Marin County?
I have been here for 27 years, since 1989.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And tell us about your relevant experience.
The first experience that I had was in real estate. After I graduated from law school, I was in Virginia. I became licensed to practice there, and I did a wide range of real estate transaction work. For example, attending meetings, planning meetings. I was a real estate attorney for a corporation that did building and development in shopping centers and so forth. And then, that was for about 3 years. And then I was summoned to California to work and to be groomed as a branch manager of a very large national mortgage company. That experience is helpful, I think, because it combines with other business acumen that I have that is important in understanding the various cases that come before the Marin County Superior Court. I have other experience too that was prior to family law, and that is corporate experience. I have 3 years involved in the corporate experience. Rather than stay in the mortgage industry and stay in that one office, I was discovered by the powers that be up at corporate, and they decided that they'd rather have a deputy assistant counsel and a person who was knowledgeable with multifamily real estate projects. So I did that. Then I went on to become a real estate broker, and it was just about the time of the downturn in the real estate industry. And so at that time I thought, what am I going to do? And I decided, you know, I think I will try family law, although it hadn't really appealed to me ever. But I went to the Family Law Center in Marin, and I became a volunteer. I volunteered thousands of hours. I was in workshops where we actually filled out all of the paper for restraining orders. So I think that I have probably done more restraining orders than any other person in Marin, let alone the candidates that are running. Mm-hmm. And why is that important? Well, it's important because we have so many restraining orders that are being conducted in the Superior Court, both in the Family Law Division, Civil Division, and in the Criminal Division. The bulk of the cases in the Criminal Division actually happen to be family violence in Marin. And so I have this well-rounded experience already in restraining orders, working on both sides, and have, like I said, done so much of it. In addition, in the family law realm, I've picked up a lot of business experience too, learning how to divide properties. That's really important to know how to divide businesses and other major assets in high complex cases.
Interesting, very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about your educational background.
Okay. Well, after I graduated from high school, I went on to college and graduated at the University of Washington. Mm-hmm. After the University of Washington, then I went to the University of Seattle, completed my law degree. I had the good fortune of being mentored by two wonderful men. One of them was Justice Hugh Rosellini, who is on the Supreme Court of the Washington State. The other one is John Henry Brown, who is known nationally as one of the finest criminal trial attorneys. After I moved on and graduated from the real estate business, then I commenced to learn every possible thing I could learn about employment law cases and about regular family law cases. I did several, maybe I think 3 or 4 of the employment law cases. I loved them, but the area of law in employment law is so vast that I didn't want to do that and the family law because it too is extremely broad. And I wanted to do one well, so I stuck with the family law. Because I like the family law. I like it because I have the opportunity to be helpful. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy being helpful to other human beings. For one, it's great for them. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very stressful time in a person's life to be in the middle of a divorce. It's when people are at their worst. And so when they come to me, either as a mediator or as an attorney or as their collaborative professional, I know how to make people relax. Although I can't relax myself all the time, but I can make others relax. And I build rapport very well with people. I have worked with all manner of backgrounds, religion, cultural background, and so I think that I bring a lot to the table in terms of that.
Excellent. The Latino community is all about family and extended family. Would you care to share any information about your family here in Marin?
Thank you. I would actually love to. I have married a gentleman who is an immigrant, and we have 2 children. They're biracial children, and one is 8 and one is 11. My former life, I actually, and what I mean by that is before I was married to my current husband of 15 years, I actually was a mother, stepmother to several black children who gave me that perspective. And I think that it's really interesting. I think it's translatable to being a Superior Court judge. And that is because I know what it's like to be walking through a parking lot and hearing the locks go down on the cars. I know what it's like to be that person that walks by and has and observes someone clutch their purse. I had the experience, in fact, just this morning, where my husband was on his way to pick up some things, and he mentioned, you know, I have to go by the bank first. And I go, well, why would you do that? And he says, well, I just want to have money. And I go, write a check. And I pushed it a little bit, and then I said, are you worried that they won't take your check because you're brown? And he said, yeah. And, you know, to understand fully what that experience is like, having lived with it for so many years, that I think that that really assists me in having the kind of cultural sensitivity that one should have as a Superior Court judge. I mean, I have the ability to see people from whatever walk of life they are from as equals. There is no difference between me and the bum on the street. I have a lot of experience, and my family had been active at Glide Church, which is very multiracial and multi-everything, transgender, LGBT, you name it, people who had just got out of jail for millions of years. So, and you know, that atmosphere is something that is really wonderful for a person who is white, because you learn to have an appreciation for everybody, no matter who they are. So, and then currently I am in the a church in Marin City that I'm currently a member of. So, yeah, I've been very active in my children's schools. I've volunteered for 6 years in the schools. I'm also a volunteer in the, as a, what do you call it, the chairperson of a $30 million bond project, which will be about ensuring that the school district spends the money properly, and so forth.
Are you on any other boards and commissions?
I am on the Marin County, well, no, actually not currently. I have been on the Marin County Lawyers Board for a number of years. I am currently, I don't believe I'm on any boards, no. I've been on a number of boards, but right now I've been concentrating more on my own nonprofit.
Tell us about that.
Okay, well, my nonprofit is an INGO, which means International Non-Governmental Organization. We started that in 2010. We are helping people in Nepal who have been trafficked or who are at risk of being trafficked into sexual slavery or into bonded labor. We began that because I had read a book called Half the Sky, and there was a call to action at the end of the last chapter. And I thought to myself, I could never do that. I could never go around and help other people in other countries. It just didn't hit my radar. But when the opportunity arose, I took it. And that was to help women who have been trafficked. And what we do is we shelter them, we educate them, we put them in training for professions, and then send them back to the remote villages in the foothills with their own machines and whatever it takes to do their trade. So that's kind of it. One of the things that we did is we became unwitting first responders to the earthquake you may have heard of last year. It was 8 on the scale of 8, I think it was, or very close to it. There were no other persons that had the ability, the expertise, or the wherewithal, or the infrastructure to go out to these remote villages where they were right on the epicenter, who had been completely wiped out, and we were able to airlift 253 people out. We were able to feed people. No one else came for 3 full weeks. And so we're really grateful to be there for these people and basically save 12 villages.
What? That must be a great feeling.
It is. It really is.
Let's switch gears and tell me a little bit about the professional organizations that you belong to.
Okay, thank you. I am currently a member of Integrated Mediators of Marin County. I'm a member of the Collaborative Professionals of Marin. Collaborative professionals are people who solve problems, primarily divorce now, but sometimes other disputes. And we solve those problems by not going to court. And it's kind of a whole paradigm shift where instead of being the bulldog running into court and spending a lot of stress and money, we're able to solve cases by being on everybody's team at the same time. So the lawyer professionals and oftentimes there's mental health professionals, we're all on the same team coming up with creative solutions to resolve very complex problems. I'm on the Women's Political Pact. I'm on the International Association of Collaborative Professionals and a former board member. I'm also on Marin Women Lawyers and Marin County Bar and the Association of Family and Reconciliation Courts.
Tell me a little bit about the qualifications that make you the best candidate.
That is very easy. I think clearly I have demonstrated my educational experience, but more importantly, I think, is just my vast experience professionally working closely with people in very, very high stress situations. You know, you're at your worst in a divorce, and you're not quite at your best when you're in a criminal case either. And to have the ability to know what that stress is like and to be able to hear people and to hear disputants on an even-handed level is really, really important work and really critical for the bench, because the most important thing for the bench is the integrity, the independence, and the impartiality. And when you have worked for so many years helping people, it really makes one a better judge. I am the only candidate who has both criminal experience and family law, like I said earlier. And the bulk of the cases coming through there are those. But I've also had employment law. I mean, one of the candidates, pretty much that's all she's ever done. Civil experience is very good. However, in civil work, primarily what you're doing is settling cases, and you're not really in there in the courts working. As a family law professional, I have had the opportunity of doing numerous trials and also numerous bench hearings, as well as settlement. And I think that the fact that I have had such advanced training in the area of mediation and dispute resolution, that it will be really indispensable as a judge. I did not see one other candidate, with the exception of one, who had any mediation experience, and there's only one other, myself, that has just a huge amount of mediation experience, because most of the cases get settled if you have a good mediator.
What are two key areas that voters should look at when they're looking for a judge?
I think what they should be looking for is integrity. I think integrity is probably one of the most important traits that a judicial officer could have. The ability to be present when another person is speaking is extremely important. And then the ability to be independent. To be independent is really important, because oftentimes the judge is going to have to make unpopular decisions. And it's not because they do not have compassion for people, but it really is the duty of a Superior Court judge is to follow the law. Mm-hmm. And I have the courage to do that, even though it may be an unpopular ruling.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me why voters should take the time and learn about this race?
Well, it's really important because the county citizenry does not have an opportunity to elect judges very often. I think the last time there was a race was in 2004, when Judge Veda was running. That was the only time. And since then, they have been appointed. Now, appointments are nice. However, the appointments tend to be the folks who are the prosecutors, the county council, and the public defenders. And the reason I think is because largely the panel of judges on the Superior Court bench are the ones who advise Governor Brown about the qualities and so forth of each of the candidates that are being reviewed by the government. And what happens is, because the Superior Court bench is so hooked into those individuals by seeing them so often, that it kind of unfairly allows the selection of those three occupations to be before the court. I think at this point we have an opportunity to elect another woman. Currently we have 33% women on our bench. I personally would like to see more represented. We have more women in the community than men. Moreover, I mean, it's really, really important because the community is going to have the opportunity to select the person who is most like them. It's not a wonderful thing to have all of the judges on the bench have the same experience. And the diversity of community service that I have and the broad spectrum of experience that I have brings so much to the branch than single issue or single job type lawyers. Because that's not what we do in Marin County. You know, we have every kind of dispute, and to have the ability to hit the ground running and not have to spend a year, or for example in family law about 7 years, before you can fully understand the dynamics and the law that's involved.
How can voters reach you?
Voters, thank you for asking me that. Voters, you can reach me at Renee Marcelle for Judge. My website is Marcelle for Judge, MARCELLE for Judge.com. I'm also on Facebook as Renee Marcelle for Judge, and I am on Twitter. That handle is JHF Nepal.
To go to our Facebook page and like us, Latino Marin.
I knew you would ask that. I already like you.
And make sure to go to our Twitter page, become part of our community on Twitter, Latino Marin 360. Thank you very much, and on behalf of Latino Marin, I'll say good night. Latino Marin weaves the Latino experience into the fabric of Marin County. We are advocating and educating our Latino community. We're also donating laptops to students. Our goal for next year is to donate 500 computers. If you have a gently used laptop with a newer operating system, please contact Latino Marin at latinomarin360@gmail.com. We also have a sister website called Voto Marin. You'll find PowerPoint presentations, what's on your ballot, dedicated information about Latinos voting in the United States, California, and Marin County. Thank you very much for joining us, and please visit our website, latinomarin.org, votomarin.org. Follow our Twitter feed at Latino Marin 360.